ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परा. The first two mantras we will chant together. Pratah Smaranam Bhavabhitiharam Suresham Gangadharam Vrishabhavahanam Ambikesham Khatvangashulavardabhayahastamisham Samsararogaharamaushadamadvitiyam Pratarnamami girisham girijardadeham Sargasthiti pralaya karanamadidevam Vishveshwaram vijita vishwamanobhiramam Samsararogaharamaushadamadvitiyam. In the introduction, we had seen that any stotra will be generally talking about describing the Devata from three angles. One is Vishesha Rupaha, particular form, like here Gangadharam, Vrishabhavahanam, means Lord Shiva with his specific form. The second will be the Lord as Jagat Karanam, as the cause of this world, and thereby being in the form of all. Jagat Karanam and being all, they are interconnected. Okay, Amas, you please come. Today is the last class, so no problem. It's okay, it happens. So the second form or second way of presenting the Lord is Jagat Karanam. As we saw, Sarga Sthiti Pralaya Karanam. And the third one is same Paramatma as Arupa Ishvaraha, formless, attributeless reality. Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. That is the third way of appreciating Ishvara, the Lord. So the first mantra predominantly presents Shiva with specific form. Second shloka presents Shiva in the second way, the second form, Jagat Karana Rupam. And now in the third shloka is attributeless form is predominantly presented. In other words, Shiva is presented as the ultimate reality called Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam means unnegatable existence. Gnanam means consciousness. Anantam means infinite. So Shiva in his true nature is Sat Chit Ananda Brahma or Satya Gnana Ananta Brahma. And that is presented here in the third shloka. I will read, you will repeat. Pratal bhajami shivamekamanantamadyam Vedanta Vedyamanagam Purusham Mahantam नामादिभेदरहितं षड्भावशून्यम् संसाररोगहरमौषधमद्वितीयम् प्रातर्भजामि शिवमेकमनन्तमाद्यम् वेदान्तवेद्यमनघं पुरुषं महान्तम् नामादिभेदरहितं षड्भावशून्यम् संसाररोगहरमौषधमद्वितीयम् Yeah, please repeat. Pratah, in the morning, bhajami, worship, adore, appreciate, Shivam, the reality which is Shivam, Ananda Swarupam. We have seen Shivam means Mangalam, Ananda Swarupam, which is Ekam, which is one. And here one is not like the sun is one, moon is one. Here Ekam is in the sense of Advitiya Ekam, non-dual one. And it is Anantam. Anantam is Antarahitam. Navidyate antaha yasya saha anantaha. That which is free from anta, limit, is called Anantam. And in Shastra we talk about three types of limitations. One is called time-wise limitation, the other is called space-wise limitations, and third is called object-wise limitation. Like this pot. Pot is time-wise limited. Why? Because it was born on a particular day, it was not there before, and it will not be there after some time. So it is time-wise limited. Kalataha parichinnam. Kalataha antavan. It is endowed with the limit in terms of time. Kalataha antavan parichinnaha. Time-wise limited. Space-wise limited. Because where is the pot? Pot is here. It is not there. So it is space-wise limited. Deshataha parichinnaha. In Sanskrit we say Deshataha parichinnaha. Space-wise limited. And the third limitation is very peculiar limitation. What is this? It is a pot. What it is not? It is not a book. It is not a book stand. It is not a clock. It is not a clip. What is it? It is only a pot. It has got the status of being a pot. That itself is a limited. Pot is only a pot and not anything else. This is called Vastu Parichedaha, object-wise limitation. It has got a status of being what it is and not anything else. We think that is how it would be, but that is limitation. Pot is different from the clip, pot is different from the paper, pot is different from the book stand. That pot being only a pot and not being anything else, and everything is different from this pot, everything is limiting the pot in terms of attribute, in terms of status, that is called Vastu Parichedaha, object-wise limited. So, pot is time-wise limited, space-wise limited and object-wise limited. Whereas, the true nature of Shiva, which is true nature of yourself too, is free from all three limitations. How? Because Shiva is existence. Now tell me, when existence was born, existence is never born. Any given existent thing is born, but existence itself is never born. Therefore, it does not have time-wise limitation. This world was in unmanifest state. Existence was there. The whether world remains or it does not remain, existence, which is the nature of Shiva, continues to be. And existence, where is it? There is no place where existence is not there, because anything we refer as what? It is. Space is. Space cannot exist apart from existence. For space to be referred to as existent, it has to be non-separate from existence. And therefore, it is free from limitation of space as well. Time-wise limitless, space-wise limitless. And is there anything which is different from, separate from, existing apart from existence? There is no such thing. So, nothing can limit existence, which is consciousness, and therefore, existence is object-wise limitless, because there is nothing which we can say it is like pot is separate from existence, we cannot say. Like we say clip is different from pot, but can we say that clip is different from existence? It is not. Nothing can be different from, separate from existence, and that existence principle is the true nature of Shiva, called Sat, otherwise called Satyam. And that existence consciousness is Shiva, and it is free from limitation of time, space and object, and therefore it is called Anantam. Therefore, where is Shiva? There is no place where Shiva is not. When Shiva would be, there is no time when Shiva would not be. And what is Shiva? We say what is not Shiva. Nothing is away from Shiva, and that is said here Anantam. Then Adyam, Ado Bhavaha Adyaha Tam, that which was there in the beginning also. Before the creation came to manifestation, Shiva was there therefore it is called Adyam. And it is Vedanta Vedyam. Vedantena Vedya, Vedyaha, Vedanta Vedyaha, Tam. Vedya means knowable. Knowable through Vedanta. Shiva in his true nature can be understood only through Vedanta. Means it cannot be known by pratyaksha, perception. It cannot be known by inference. We have 6 pramanas we talk about in our Shastra. Perception, eyes, ears, etc. Inference, like example we give, there is fire on the mountain because there is smoke on the mountain. So that is inference. Arthapatti, presumption. There is third means of knowledge called arthapatti, presumption. And we give one very standard example we have. You know what that example is? Nice example. There is a person called Devadatta, and you don't see Devadatta eating during the day. Morning 7 to evening 7 you are with him, and he doesn't eat. At the same time he is quite happy, healthy, looking healthy, fat. So how is it possible? He doesn't eat during the day, but he is fat. How is it possible? You presume what? He must be eating during night, and that too very well eating. And once a person eats too much at night, no calories burnt. So what happens? Deposited. Therefore, when you see that Devadatta not eating during the day and eating, and at the same time he is fat, therefore he must be eating during night. This type of presumption, this type of knowledge of Devadatta eating during night is by a means of knowledge called presumption, arthapatti. You see that morning, you see that the roads are wet, and based on that you conclude what? It must have rained during night. Right now it is not raining. If right now you see that road is wet, and then you say, it must be raining now. But right now the road is wet, rain is not coming, but road is wet. So what do you presume? It must have rained during night. That is called arthapatti, presumption. And other one is simile. Simile means from comparison also you get some idea. A comparison is a little complicated, but sometimes we say, I am giving a very approximate idea about what comparison is. I say that this place is like Dayananda Ashram, or Dayananda Ashram is like this place. So you get some idea about what Dayananda Ashram is. So based on the comparison you get some idea. It is a very little bit complicated means of knowledge, but the comparison is the basis for getting some idea. Some similarity is the basis for getting some knowledge. Like somebody says, Swamiji, this person is exactly like my brother. So my brother is exactly like this. So you get some idea about the person's brother from seeing this person's nature. So that is upamanam, comparison. And we have got one interesting means of knowledge called anupalabdhi, non-comprehension. Very interesting. If I ask you, do you see elephant on my palm? Elephant is there on my palm. There? You get the knowledge of absence of elephant. Did you get or not? When I say, is there elephant on my palm? You say, no Swamiji. So you got the knowledge what? Absence of elephant on the palm. Now if I ask you, how did you know? Swamiji, I saw that it is not there. I will ask you this question. How did you see? Swamiji, with my own eyes I saw. There is no elephant. You will say like this. I will ask you this question. Your eyes can see something which has got forms and colors. Isn't it? Your eyes are designed to see something which has got forms and colors. Now I will ask you the question. What is the form and color of the absence of elephant? Not elephant. What is the form? What is the shape of the absence of elephant? Is it the shape of elephant? Absence of elephant doesn't have any form. What is the color of absence of elephant? What is the color? No color. Still you understand, you got the knowledge? I ask you, just go out and see whether any animal is there. You come back and tell, Swamiji, there is no animal outside. But how did you see? I saw, Swamiji. You say that I saw, but really you cannot see. And therefore, in Shastra we have got another means of knowledge called Anupalabdhi. In Sanskrit it is called Anupalabdhi, non-comprehension. So non-comprehension means the knowledge of absence of a thing you get. So knowledge of absence you get by cognizing the absence of knowledge. Knowledge of absence you get by cognizing the absence of knowledge. By absence of knowledge, you get the knowledge of absence. That is the operation, the modus operandi of this means of knowledge. What is the principle? You get the knowledge of absence by absence of knowledge. That is Anupalabdhi Pramanam. वेदांत में बहुत कुछ पढ़ने का होता है. So many things are there to be understood in Vedanta. One of them is this. Anyway, so this also is another means of knowledge. And we have got another means of knowledge called Shabdaha. If I say that there are 3 devatas in this shrine, in this temple, 3 devatas, Dakshinamurti, 4 devatas. There are 4 devatas, Danaganapati, Dakshinamurti, Darbadeshwara and Daneshwari. Suppose you are coming first time, and if I use this description, do you get some knowledge or not? Knowledge. How did you get knowledge? From my words. So this is called Shabda Pramanam. So there are 6 means of knowledge: perception, inference, presumption, simile, non-comprehension and words. Out of this, the true nature of Shiva cannot be understood by Pratyaksha. Why? Because true nature of Shiva is not a given object having sound, touch, color, smell, taste. All these things are not there, and therefore it cannot be known by Pratyaksha. And since it has no sound, etc., therefore Anumana Arthapatti also will not come into the picture. And it is matchless, and therefore it is not available for Upamanam also. And it is not non-existent. In fact, it is of the nature of existence. Therefore, non-comprehension, Anupalabdhi also will not be useful. And therefore what? We are left with only one Pramanam, Shabda Pramanam. Shabda Pramanam is of 2 types. One is called Laukika Shabda, other is called Vaidika Shabda or Shastriya Shabda. And true nature of Shiva is not available for Laukika. Laukika Shabda means the words used by a person based on perception, etc. That is called Laukika Shabda. As I told that there are 4 devatas in the temple. So my words will be called Laukika Shabda. Why? They are based on my perception. So I have seen and I am telling you. Or I might have inferred or I might have been told by someone and I am telling you. Laukika Shabda. Whereas there are words of Vedas which are not given by an individual, which are coming from the Lord through the rishis, those words are called Vaidika Shabda. And Laukika Shabda cannot become the means of knowledge, pramanam for true nature of Shiva, because if any given person words are pramanam, means of knowledge, then he must have some basis to know Shiva. Whatever his basis can become my basis also. If he has seen Lord Shiva by his perception, I also can see. And I cannot see, then what is the reason he can see or she can see? And therefore, Laukika Shabda are not pramanam. Only Vaidika Shabdas are pramanam. Even in Vedas, also there are 2 parts. Veda Purva Bhaga, which is dealing with karma. And those words are dealing with karma and not with the reality of Ishvara. Therefore, the first part of Vedas are also not pramanam for Paramatma. Then finally what? The second portion of Vedas called Vedanta, the words of those Vedanta, Upanishads alone are pramanam for Shiva, true nature of Shiva, and therefore he is called Vedanta Vedyaha. So Vedanta Vedya means that which is knowable only through Vedanta, Upanishad. Vedanta is otherwise called Upanishad. That is why Shiva or Paramatma has got one name. He is called Aupanishada Purusha. Aupanishada. Aupanishada means Upanishadeka Gamyaha. That which is known only through Upanishad is called Aupanishada. And that is said here, Vedanta Vedyam. That is why if somebody tells you that yesterday I realized Ishvara or I saw Ishvara in his true nature, it is a bluff. Nobody can see the true nature of Ishvara. Ishvara's true nature is not available for perception, etc. Ishvara's true nature can only be recognized through Vedanta, and it is to be recognized as oneself. And that understanding of Shiva's true nature is my true nature is coming through Vedanta. Therefore, Shiva is called Vedanta Vedyaha. And it is Anagha. Anagha means free from Agha. Agha means Papam. Generally they translate the word Anagha means sinless. But Pujya Swamiji used to say, we try to avoid using the word sin. Why? Because the word sin has got some connotation, original sin, etc. And therefore, we generally avoid using the word sin. Otherwise, you can say Anagha means sinless. Easy. But I have to say what? Free from Papam. Achha, let me clarify a little bit about Papam. What is Papam? Papam is invisible result of the action which is prohibited by the scripture. Papam is invisible result of an action prohibited by the scripture. This punyam and papam are purely based on Shastra. Of course, we can figure out certain things, right and wrong, by common sense. But punya papa, we can figure out or we can understand only based on Shastra. So, papam is invisible result, unfavorable, invisible result of an action which is prohibited by scriptures. And incidentally, what is punyam? Papam is unfavorable, invisible result of an action prohibited by scripture. Punyam is favorable, invisible result of an action prescribed by the scripture. Like Shastra says, share, serve. Shastra is prescribing. Do this puja, do this ritual, help people. So these are the actions prescribed by the scriptures called vihita karma. And you get some invisible result. Not visible, like it's not a currency, it's like a Bitcoin, you don't see it. It is there. So similarly, it is invisible. But it is favorable in the sense this invisible result will materialize, will fructify in the form of something favorable. Therefore, it is called favorable, invisible result of an action prescribed by the scripture. That is called punyam. What is papam? Unfavorable, invisible result of a prohibited action. And that will fructify in the form of unfavorable situation. Small papam is there, small unfavorable situation. The mosquito bite, small papam is gone. Somebody a little bit shouted or a little bit, coughing, etc., a little bit and went away. Small papam, sometimes big papam, meet with an accident, etc. So, punyam and papam are there in the account of jiva. As long as you consider yourself to be a karta, a doer, an individual, you will have punya papa account. Wherever you go, punya papa account will not leave you. And you become free from punya papa when you own up your true nature, which is Shivaha. Why? Because Shiva himself is Anagha. Shiva is free from punya and papa. How he is free from punya and papa? Because in the true nature of Shiva, there is no doership. Doership is there, then only punya papa comes. Shiva is free from doership, therefore Anagha. If you also want to become free from punya papa, what is the way? Discover, own up yourself to be Shiva who is free from doership. Anagha. Next word is Purusham. Purusham can be interpreted in two ways. Purishete iti Purushaha. One who is dwelling in the body, conscious being, is called Purushaha. And another meaning of Purusha is Purayati Sarvan iti Purushaha. One who pervades everything is Purushaha. And Shiva is both. Shiva is available as Jiva obtaining in the body. Therefore, Purishete iti Purushaha. And Shiva is pervading everything. therefore also Purushaha. So the word Purusha is a very interesting, very important word in Shastra, because it represents Jiva also, it represents Paramatma also. Therefore Pujya Swamiji used to say, we can make this sentence, Purushaha, Purushaha. Purushaha, Purushaha. Means what? First Purusha means Purishete, one who is obtaining in this body, that Pratyagatma, the inner self, is Purushaha, is Paramatma. So first Purusha is Jivatma, second Purusha is Paramatma. So we can say Purushaha, Purushaha. This is uniqueness of Pujya Swamiji. This is very intelligent way of presenting the main teaching of Vedanta. Purushaha, Purushaha. So Shiva is available in the individual as Sakshi Chaitanyam, witness consciousness, and it is available as the true nature of Ishvara, Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma, Brahma Chaitanyam, and that is represented by the word Purusha. So Shiva is the reality behind the Jiva and Ishvara. That is why Purusham. And Mahantam. Mahantam is all pervasive. Mahantam has got one meaning, great. He is great. Mahyate Pujyate iti Mahan. Mahantam is the second case. Mahantam. You must have heard the word Mahapurusha. Mahan, great. And Maha has got one meaning, Pujya, worshipable. And another meaning of Mahan is all pervasive. So Shiva is all pervasive. There is nothing, there is no place where Shiva is not there. So people ask this question, Swamiji, if Paramatma or Shiva is everywhere, why should we go to the temple? He doesn't want to go to the temple. So now we listen to Vedanta. In Vedanta what? Paramatma is everywhere. That is good, Swamiji told. So people were pushing me to go to the temple. Now I will tell this. Paramatma is everywhere. Why should I go to the temple? This question comes. Yes, if you are seeing Paramatma everywhere in your mind and you are having that vision not for saying, it's not a verbal service, lip service. You really mean it. You are seeing everyone as Paramatma. Somebody is shouting at you, also you are able to do namaskara. That also Shivaha. Somebody is praising you, Shivaha. Somebody is indifferent to you, Shivaha. You are able to do that. Then you did not go to the temple. But that is not the case, Somebody shouts at you, you doubly shout at the person. It means your drishti that everything is Shiva is only at the what is called at the level of just words. It has not become your vision, it has not become your conviction. Like some people know, theoretically they know what? That yoga is good. Some people are very good in explaining how yoga will be very useful. Yoga is good for holistic health and all this. And we slowly, softly we ask him, Sir, you must be doing yoga every day 3 times. Oh, where is time? I am so busy giving lectures on yoga. So it means he is telling yoga is good, but himself he is not convinced well. That is not the case. When a person is seeing, he means it. That yes, Shiva is everywhere. That person need not go. But until that vision comes, we go there. But in his true nature is Mahantam. And the next one is Namadi Bheda Rahitam. Shiva is Rahitam, free from. bheda, any division of namadi, nama, etc. Nama means name, etc. means form and function. So there are division based on three things: name, form and function. Nama, rupa and karma. Like we have one name pot, other is lid, other is some jug. Different names are there. Different forms will be there. Different functions will be there. Lid is meant for something, pot is meant for something else, jug is meant for something else. So different names, different forms, different function. At the level of effect, this difference will be there. At the level of effect, karyam, nama, rupa and karma, this threefold division will be there. But in the karanam, in the satyam, in the tattvam, such divisions are not there. Water does not have any such division. But in the effect of water, there are different names: waves, wavelets, whirlpool, form, different names are there. Different forms will be there, different function will be there. But water, which is the truth of all, is free from nama, rupa and karma. Similarly, existence consciousness, which is Brahman, which is Shiva, is namadi bheda rahitam. So Shiva does not have any difference based on name, form and function. And Shadbhava Shunyam. Shunyam means free from. Shadbhava here refer to 6 modifications. Our body generally has got 6 modifications. First one is what? Jayate, is born. Then asti. Asti means it is remaining as a limited entity. Asti. It comes into being. When jayate happens, then it comes into being. It is now referred to as is. Before birth it was not referred to as is. After birth alone it is referred to as is. That is the asti vikara. Jayate asti. Then what? Vardate. It grows. And for some years there is neither growth, there is no decline. It is almost like a straight line graph. Vardate means is going upward. Then there is a straight line graph. Some metamorphic changes are happening. That is called viparinamate. Metamorphic changes, some voice etc. changes, but there is no this physical growth further in the terms of length, height etc. That is called viparinamate. Every moment body is changing, but we don't say now he is growing or declining. That is called viparinamate. And after some time, what happens? Starts declining. Even the height of the person is reduced. So declination starts. That is called apakshiyate. Apakshiyate means declines. So jayate, vardate, viparinamate, apakshiyate. Sorry, apakshiyate and then vinashyati. Jayate, asti, vardate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. These are the 6 changes. Last one is vinashyati. Vinashyati means destroyed. So first is born, jayate, asti remains, comes into being. Then vardate, third, fourth, viparinamate, fifth, apakshiyate, declines, and the sixth one is vinashyati, is destroyed. So every body will have these 6 modifications, whereas Shiva, Paramatma, is free from these modifications. Shadbhava Shunyam. But Swamiji, we are celebrating Shivaratri, and Shivaratri is supposed to be the birthday or manifestation day of Shiva. We are celebrating Krishna Janmashtami, Ramanavami. This evening I am going to talk about Shivaratri. What is the significance of this day Shivaratri? We will talk about it. But Shiva is not born. Shiva manifests in a particular form. Shiva is not born. It is Shadbhava Shunyam. And Samsara Roga Haram Aushadam. We have seen the meaning. Advitiyam, matchless, secondless medicine for removing the disease of samsara. When you understand yourself to be what we have seen here, that I am Shivaha, I Purusha, am Shiva Rupa Purusha, then you are free from samsara. And that is why he is called Samsara Roga Haram Aushadam Advitiyam. So here in this shloka, the Nirguna Swarupam of Shiva, attributeless nature of Shiva is predominantly highlighted. Now, the next shloka is not really a part of the main shloka, but it is called Falashruti. Falashruti means description of the result of chanting this shloka. Phala means result, Shruti means Shravanam, description, mention. The mention of the result is called Falashruti. So now in the next shloka, the Falashruti is given. Tune is slightly different. I have to also change, no? Pratah Samuthaya Shivam Vichintya Shlokanstrayam yenu dinam pathanti te dukkha jatam bahu janma sanchitam hitva padam yanti tadeva shambho Pratah Samuthaya Shivam Vichintya Shlokanstrayam yenu dinam pathanti te dukkha jatam bahu janma sanchitam hitva padam yanti tadeva shambho. Pratah Samuthaya, having got up in the morning. So first of all you have to get up in the morning, not afternoon, morning. Pratah Samuthaya. Shivam Vichintya, and having thought about Shiva, having brought Shiva to your mind. Shivam Vichintya. Ye, those who pathanti, read, chant. What? Shlokan Trayam, 3 verses. Those who read 3 verses. When? Every Shivaratri? Every month? No. Anudinam, every day. So, having got up in the morning, having brought Shiva to the mind, and those who read these 3 shlokas every day, those people, hitva, having given up or having become free from dukkha jatam, the multitude of dukkhas, multitude of miseries. Jatam here is not born, jatam is the multitude, samuha ityartha. So dukkha jatam means the multitude of miseries and the cause for the miseries also included. So miseries and the cause for miseries, namely papam, namely the kartrutvam, the sense of doership, and the samskaras, which are bahujanma sanchitam, which are accumulated over many births. Having given up dukkha jatam, multitude of miseries and their causes, which are accumulated over so many births, so many lives. Means when a person chants this stotra, this shloka, 3 shlokas, having brought Shiva to the mind, then he becomes free from the miseries and the causes for misery. And then what will happen to him finally? Yanti, they attain. Shambhoho tadeva padam. That very same, tadeva means that very same, padam, status, state, Shambhoho of Shiva. They attain the very same status of Shiva which they were contemplating upon. What you think, so you become. So they have been thinking, contemplating upon the Shiva, the nature of Shiva, and they become one with that. So the result of this chanting of this stotra is twofold. One is, one will attain punyam, because it is the stotram related to the Lord. So one will attain punyam, otherwise called the grace of Shiva. And because of the grace of Shiva, the person will attain the purity of the mind, attainment also of the teacher, attainment of the opportunity to study. This is immediate benefit. And in long run, he attains the jnanam that I am Shivaha. He understands the true nature of Shiva and also understands the true nature of Shiva is my true nature as well. And therefore what will be his understanding finally? I am Shivaha. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham becomes a fact, not mere repetition. It is not a repetition of the mantra only. It becomes a fact for him or her. I am Shivaha. And because of this vision with conviction, he enjoys Jivan Muktihi, freedom by living itself, and Videha Mukti, freedom after the fall of the body. He will attain Jivan Mukti, freedom when he is alive, Jivan Muktihi, and Videha Mukti, freedom after the fall of this body. So this is the result of this stotram. Gets you grace of the Lord, and finally you attain oneness in terms of discovery that I am Shivaha. So with this we conclude the 4th shloka also. The 3rd shloka's translation I will just read. I adore Shiva, who is one, infinite, and existing in the beginning of creation, is knowable through Vedanta, is free from papa, is conscious being, is all pervasive, free from difference or division of names and names, etc., free from sixfold modifications, and is secondless, matchless medicine, removing the disease of bondage. Secondless medicine, removing the disease of bondage. The last shloka, those who, having got up and contemplating on Shiva, chant these 3 verses every day, attain the very same status or state of that Lord Shiva, having given up or having become free from the multitude of miseries accumulated over so many births, so many lives. All right. So with this, by grace of Lord Shiva, we completed this stotra. But before we conclude this session, I would like to give take-home message. What is the essence? Take-home message. Take-home message is, prepare yourself by worshipping the world as Shiva and offering 3 types of prayers: Kayika, Vachika, Manasa. Prepare yourself by serving the world as Shiva and offering 3-fold prayers, and get knowledge of true nature of Shiva and claim, own up the fact, I am Shivaha. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. In simple words, prepare yourself by worshipping Shiva, get the knowledge of true nature of Shiva, and claim yourself to be one with Shiva. I am Shivaha. This is the message, the final message of this stotra. With this, we conclude, and in the evening we will have question answer, and I will talk about Shivratri, and then we have this, tomorrow we have got this Sankirtanam. So those who are staying back can join, and we have got puja in the evening. Those details we will give in the evening class, satsang class we will see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.